July, Sydney 2009, at the inaugural event for Sound, Light and Vision, Integrate. A panel of industry heavy hitters, moderated by Auditoria's Scott Wills Allen, presents PA Shootouts, Buying the Right Rig. Integrate will be back in August 2010. Royal Hall of Industries and the Horton Pavilion, Moore Park, Sydney. Put it in your diary, 24th to 26th of August 2010.
Program content, what's appropriate and the subjectivity of that, it should all be dictated by you. It's not for us to, whilst we can, tell you that this Diana crawl track sounds great on our CD system or on our speaker system, and you know, this, that or the other is fantastic on our system, but hang on, well, when I change tracks I just have to do this. Okay, so you guys need to provide that content, and if you can't, then you need to understand that at least whoever does provide content, you should at least use that throughout the rest of the evaluation, because you need to do a real comparison. And don't forget that all of us have a vested interest in making our system sound good. So if we know that we don't have a system that's tight enough in the bottom end to replay that track at the quality level that we think it should, we're not going to play that track. So it's up to you, really.
So what I'm leading into with this is when we're doing demonstrations, it's very important not just to play music, it's important to play program material that's representative of the customer's intended use of the sound system. And in the case of cathedrals and venues like that where spoken word is of paramount importance, we'll always encourage the use of a microphone, at least one microphone. Sure, we might use music for just an initial tonal evaluation. We might even use it for walking around to have a listen to the sound system in different areas, but we'll always use a microphone or microphones, preferably in the correct, or as close to as possible, the correct relative position in the room that they'll be used in the finished install. We'll always try and put the speakers as close as possible to where they'll go, and the mics as close as possible to where they'll go. And it's very important, because you shouldn't just be, to lead into the next point Scott wanted to take us to, where to listen from. It's very important not just to sit as you guys are, not that you had a whole lot of choice, to not just sit in one place and listen from there. You've got to move around. You don't just listen on axis to the speaker. You want to listen off axis. You want to listen in areas that are meant to be covered across that area to ensure that there's a nice consistency of frequency response and consistency of loudness, consistency of sound. You want to listen in areas where the sound system is not supposed to be. It's very important, and I see a lot of people just stand still, particularly at line array demos and shootouts, and at most they'll walk left to right in the room. It's really important to walk the depth of the room as well, to listen to the interaction of the different sound system elements and what that produces out in the room. It's interesting to listen for the interactions with the acoustic space. If you stand close to a reflective side wall, you're going to hear a fairly significant reflection off that wall sometime after the direct sound arrives, and that can have effects on frequency response, on intelligibility, all the important things. You should go on the stage. You definitely should walk underneath the array. If it's something that's flown for a demonstration, go and stand on the stage. Go and stand where the lectern's going to be and have a listen. If you're listening to an arrayed speaker system, sometimes they can produce wildly different responses off axis, behind the box, behind the cluster I should say, below it. You can end up with quite pronounced mid-frequency peaks directly underneath an array, just to do with the way the drivers are interacting within the array. What that means is that your audience doesn't care about that. They're not hearing this mid-frequency peak, but the microphone sure is, and that will probably mean that the system being proposed will want to feed back at those mid-frequencies. So it's important to listen not only in the areas we're covering.
You've got to, well, I'd like to anyway, take a little bit of a logistics view of this as well. I mean, it's all very nice to say, you know, we've got a venue here, bring out a complete system so we can try it, you know, and that may include subs, front fills, delays, etc. I know my boss, we devalue all our demo stock by about 15 to 20% once we open the boxes to take them out. You know, like when we sell something as new, most people want it to be new. You buy a new car, you don't want to find the ashtray full, right? So we have to devalue our demo stock. So there's a commercial aspect there. At some point, you have to say, okay, yes, that's the ideal, but I just can't do that. You know, I can't bring a complete system in. Now, does that disqualify me or not? You know, if the answer is yes, it disqualifies you, I think you're going to cut your potential down dramatically, because there's not going to be that many suppliers out there that just happen to have a complete venue system laying around ready to go out and do a demo.
Yeah, I'm seeing an issue coming here right through this. It's coming up. The word's called trust. I think that anyone here buying a sound system who has a demo or an ease model or something like that has eventually got to come to the point, and they've got to say in their head, do I trust this man I'm dealing with? And they've got to believe what he says. And then they'll make the decision, and they'll quietly hope like crazy that they haven't been ripped off or screwed over or whatever. And that's what I'm coming through this whole discussion, is it comes down to trust with the people you're dealing with. Yes, they have to have technical knowledge, but technical knowledge can be bought. My actual background, so you know, I'm a lighting person. I've never mixed a PA in my life, but I've sold a hell of a lot of them.
Just so you know, for future, you tend not to mix a PA, you tend to mix a band.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry,
no, that's okay.
That's
no
okay.
problem.
Cool, we got that right.
You can mix a drink.
I can mix a drink.
Or
That
a
I
bag
can
of
do.
nuts,
Yeah, but,
perhaps, yeah.
But it comes down to trust.
And I think that's a key one as well. It's the whole thing with actually choosing a sound system and installing it does involve a number of aspects, and not only does it involve the input of suppliers such as those that are sitting at this table at the moment, but also involves the input of integrators as well, the person that's actually going to install it and make it work. And of course then there's the after sales aspect as well, as sort of like, you know, you've been told that this sound system will do X, Y, Z, and after the event someone comes in to do X, Y, Z and the sound system blows up. What happens then? Because it wouldn't actually do X, Y, Z. So it is a process of being able to find someone that you actually trust and can work with to actually get the result, and that also involves support and backup after the sale as well. And also buying a sound system is not necessarily buying a solution for the room. The sound system after it's purchased still needs to be installed and integrated with all the other aspects of the system. So it needs to be clarified there as to what it is you're actually being quoted on and what you're purchasing. So.